And we're into the all pick, and this should be relatively quick, unless one of these teams try pulling a fast one on us. So yeah, it is relatively quick, and we'll go straight to the in-game view. Extremers are thinking about repicking or something. There we go. So according to Brian, K4 have the better draft, or are they the better team? He didn't specify, but he thinks this is K4's game. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the onus is definitely on Extremers to make something happen early on, and that's a little difficult to do with an Abaddon support being so defensive. However, the way they run Abaddon is a solo offlaner, not so much a support, so it's interesting to see what their plan is with him. I know for a specific period of time, Abaddon was used to rush a Mask of Madness and be some kind of third position, but that never lasted. I didn't think it was a successful idea or strat. And we have another disconnect being dash. Time we draw pictures. And Dash is back in the game, and I think we might be ready to go, guys. Wooden PCs. Wooden... I can't say the second part. Not very patriotic. Okay, and we're underway. Let's see how these teams line up. A line drawn by Witch Doctor, but no one seems to be going that way. Everything seems pretty standard here. Good luck, good luck, good luck by Aboud. You can tell Aboud's really excited to be playing in front of a crowd here, so hopefully he puts on a show with his Invoker. He's been pulled the Tango. Gone Quas first, so his regen should be fine. And here's a Smoke trying to make a move, but I don't think they're gonna catch Achilles out, who smoked himself, but yeah.
30 seconds to battle.
Should be fine. That's a set on Orpheus, not bad. Yeah, and they look like they're just gonna be giving some respect and just trading runes peacefully. Although streamers were hoping Slardar got a little greedy, but that's not gonna happen. So it's a offlane Slardar is a... Yeah, it looks to be a solo offlane Abaddon. I mean, he's being there by his teammates. Wards set by both sides. This high ground ward particularly important, as it's gonna give Templar Assassin decent advantage against this Invoker. So, peaceful start. No one trying to make a big move on the other team for the runes. And this Abaddon is a solo offlane as I predicted. I don't know how... Some aggression there by Earth Spirit, and this is what we were talking about. If he's here to help babysit the Invoker, then Templar could have some trouble on her lane. So, even though it's very early on, you could tell the greed of K4's draft, and you could tell the Extremers have noticed this and are trying to take the initiative, basically, and take advantage of this greedy lineup. So far, very early stages, but Extremers will be happy with this start. So Templar Assassin only has a salve left for regen, and I'm sure extremers know this. But they seem to be making a move on Abaddon, or is it Abaddon making a move on them? My god. Earth Spirit rolls in, but he's not gonna, and the body blocks by Carmen, but he could go down. This wouldn't be a worthy sacrifice. He looks to be going down here. They're gonna dive on him and they're gonna get him. That's the first blood on the Terrorblade. I mean, Abaddon gets killed on the way back, but that is not worth it. That is not worth it. Your Terrorblade cannot be the first one dying. And I mean, the Abaddon getting that XP is just so huge for him. I doubted this pick as a solo offlane, but he's proving me wrong so far. Chemo with a double damage harassing the Slardar a bit. He does get caught and take some damage. Going for the very aggressive build. And this lane has been going pretty well for the Abaddon. Even though it's 1 kill, 1 death, he's level on XP, he's not being zoned out in any way, and they could go on him again here. Earth Spirit is thinking about it, and it looks to be the case. Earth Spirit does move in on Carmen. Carmen looks to be going down again. This could be disastrous. And all along the while, they get a kill on Night Stalker and a disconnect from Slardar. Okay, the game should be paused here. And duly is. Well, that was an eventful start, to say the least. Pretty much an upset, in Brian's eyes at least, of a start. Very, very happy start for streamers, to be honest. I just feel like they've played it so well. They've been aggressive, like I said they needed to be. And it says 2-1 here, but that's 2 deaths for probably your most important hero in the long run. And Hamada, who was having a pretty good game with 7 last hits, gets killed by a neutral. He could have been just trying to go back to base quickly. Probably suicided to the neutral. But we'll never know for sure. You can't blame me for that one, guys. I was watching another fight. And Slardar is back in the game, and they will not be happy with what just happened. K4 have to put their heads right. They know this game is do or die. You lose this, you go home. They can't afford to give away a start like this. And Achilles is storming back in. He's not happy. And neither is this Terrorblade. I mean, all this regen just sitting in his inventory because he's not taking harass damage. He's getting killed, I mean. And mid going Templar Assassin's way. Pretty surprising at the early stages, but not too surprising knowing KK Zor's skill level. And Achilles does use sprint. Doubt they can make a move on him, and they're making a move on water up top, and this time it's his turn to go down. Oh, he barely tries to make it out, but he's gonna go down to the Terrorblade, and if they wanted any hero to get that kill, it was the Terrorblade. So they're taking some heavy harass on the bottom. And Mahmoud looks to be taking some serious damage in mid, but he has some cover with Happy, and Happy is being a little too overzealous there. I don't think this is gonna end up with a kill for either side, just a bunch of posturing. But they are making a move on Slardar, who barely gets away. Does have the Maledict tick, but he'll be fine. So water on the Abaddon, smarting a little bit after that last gank. And he's trying to push Terrorblade. He knows that if there's no one on this lane, he sees other heroes on others, he can push Terrorblade away. Terrorblade cannot contest him at this point. Focusing more on denies than last hits, it's essential to limit this Terrorblade's farm. And again, pushing Achilles out. Relatively even, but I'd say Streamers are definitely still the happier team, considering that Terrorblade, they're winning on the farm department slightly, at least with their carries. And TA fills up her bottle. There is a haste rune or the S4 rune on bottom, if anyone finds it. But until then, they're making move top. Chemo does not have any mana, so all he's offering is a right click. And everything will remain pretty calm now. Almost a courier sniped by Hamada. The courier makes it though. And they're making a move on Dash. He could go down here. Oh, and then Happy anticipated him go up. And I guess that was a good dodge by Dash. And Water is gonna pay for it. Hamada storming in. It is nighttime. He is Night Stalker. And that is gonna happen if you overcommit. Nice aggressive ward here by K4. And they'll be happy. They'll be happy after what you could say was a very rough start. 1437 is getting a lot of farm though. That could be worrying in some ways, but as long as this Terrorblade catches up, 1437 can't really deal with his Wrath pushing in the later stages of the game. Barely anyone can. Water posturing. Hamada is not gonna be caught. Not at night. And very defensive by K4, almost hoping or waiting for something to happen. Maybe a gank. Now Slardar is pushing the tempo with 1437. Again, just more posturing. Orpheus again gets the rune. Very little rune control by streamers, so they could do a little bit better with that. And they're all up top now. But I mean, if K4 get sight of this or knowledge that they're all up top and they're about to, then 1437 is a sitting duck and they're gonna be making a move for him. It's almost him asking for it. The silence doesn't come in time. Should have been the first skill, and the TPs come in, and Achilles could be punished for this. 1437 going ham. They might switch their attention to Hamada. It's no longer nighttime, and he's moving a little slow. Happy could catch him with a rolling boulder, but I don't know if anyone else can follow up in time. And they look to be getting the tier 1 mid, and he misses a tornado EMP. They could reverse this on Happy, and they probably will. I mean, he chased way too far. Abaddon is coming in to try and help him out, but he's gonna go down, and the courier almost goes down too. Dash is probably dead here. Focusing more on what's going on to the right. Orpheus coming in, doing... Abaddon pops an early ult, but he's probably just gonna have to retreat from here. We've got 1437 sneaking in, but he cannot fight this. He's pinged out by his teammates. Go back, they're telling him. Okay then. That definitely went in favor of K4, even though supports traded. This whole time, guess who's catching up? Guess who's just told his teammates, I'm AFK farm next 20 minutes? Probably this guy. After the start he had. I mean, 2 recovery kills is not the worst thing in the world, and that's not something you see every day. And Invoker buying a tome. Usually you get supports buying something like that. And they look to be making a move here. And they get the kill on Hamada's Night Stalker. Nice and easy. A tornado actually hits Slardar. But the EMP was very optimistic. That was never gonna happen. So. Terrorblade things. Now up there with Lifestealer on the top of the farm. Where he has to be to make an impact on this game. Now they're pushing the bottom tier 1. They should be able to get this, I think, and I don't think K4 are gonna try and fight it.
Structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They're just gonna choose to split push
Dire's
and maybe
bottom
make a
tower
move
is
for this
fortified.
top tower. They're pushing the tier 2s. It doesn't look like they're going back. They're even pinging. I don't think they can actually do this. They're in a little deep.
Radiant structures are
If the
fortified.
rotations come in, it could get ugly. And all the meanwhile, Terrorblade getting the top
Radiant's
tower.
top tower has fallen.
More and more funds coming to him. I mean, if you take a look at the net worths, Terrorblade is
Dire's
on
structures
top
are
again.
fortified.
That's not a good sign for Extremist fans.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And he's just pushing more and more. He's like, yeah, you don't want to come? Cool. I'm going to be here all day. Chemo looks to be going down. Almost saved by Abaddon, but this is where you just realize you've stayed too long. Good stun by
Radiant's top tower
Earth
is
Spirit,
under
but I still wonder if they can get out of this. And Terrorblade's just pushing and pushing, really. Yeah, water is dead here. And that's a disaster actually for Extremists. The amount of time they waited up there, well down there, and the amount of farm they gave this man over here while doing so, and a bounty rune. Nice and pleasant. Dungeon Yasha could be complete soon by this Terrorblade. Or you could go for the straight BKB. Use my idiocy.
Radiant's
Whatever.
bottom tower is under
The
attack.
Dragon Lance, which is the most common item on this hero these days. Sometimes turned into a Hurricane Pike later on in the game, if you feel too much pressure. So it's now Extremists that are playing a little scared. They were playing hyper aggressive early on, but right now they're feeling the tides have changed, and unfortunately for them, they have. There's no sugarcoating it. They've given that Terrorblade too much space, and all the while Templar Assassin has been consistently farming. 2-0 and 2, just going for last hits this game, not doing anything fancy. Very reliable. And the tornado goes to scout, but they're gonna miss that.
Tower is under attack.
And K4 are gonna defend this, and Slardar's Crush comes in. That is a huge crush by Slardar, and they're gonna lose this fight pretty heftifully. Did you just see the Lifestealer blow up? Hamada could go down here, but what's it all for? He might not even go down, but we're gonna stay here with Invoker, who does go down, and that is a 5-man wipe. Water is trying to fight this, but there is no fighting this, my friend. Well, if you need one fight to turn the shape of an entire game, it's probably that one. Almost a 3,000 gold swing and a 3,000 experience swing. It's looking bad, to say the least, for Extremists after a very encouraging start. The leads don't show that much, but the lead's much bigger than it actually is on the graph, at least in reality, just because, I mean, you're giving this man too much farm. Along with the Templar Assassin, if your Templar Assassin can do that to your Lifestealer, like almost two-shot him, I'm guessing he actually armlet toggled while that was happening at the wrong time and it got him killed. Because the amount of health that disappeared off Lifestealer's health bar didn't make sense. I mean, she doesn't even have... How's this now? I don't even think she had this for the last fight, but she doesn't have that much damage even with the Mithril Hammer. That Meld Strike stung. And Hamada gets his Midas. So they're playing for the long haul, and they know the late game is theirs. I mean, late game is nothing to scoff at on extremists either, to be honest. But they have no one to deal with Terrorblade when he becomes fat and he split pushes. Hamada could get caught here. Almost gets hit by Chemo's task. And Carmen also could be in trouble here. And he misses the stun, and Chemo could go down for this. He probably will. No, he just makes it out of there. And they're turning it on Hamada, who does get stuck. He has no mana, and the Death Ward is used and wasted. Not sure that was worth it, even if they got the kill. And 1437 innocently farming. Don't mind me. Oh no, I'm dead. Nice and easy. He had to know that was coming. I mean, he saw K4's teammates getting ganked top with no one coming to assist them. Guess what? They're coming to gank you. And more farming. Anta style coming up next by this Terrorblade. That was the Slardar Blink that made that fight happen. Possibly the game-winning fight. And K4 will be very pleased with the way they've recovered this game. They've showed some character. They might have been favorites before this game, but I still think it takes character to recover from a bad start. Maybe not going on tilt. And Orpheus soloing Roche at this point. Fun stuff. I mean, look at that damage. He's gonna get this. And streamers are just gonna have to accept it at this point. Drawing some lines. I'm not sure if that's how they want to initiate or how they think K4 are gonna initiate. But K4 are just chilling in mid right now. Everyone's getting their farm. Monkey Dory, as they say. Fairplay does have his money coming in. We should be seeing the courier pick up a ultimate orb sometime soon. Orpheus pretty low, but getting his last bits of farm before he heads back. And they're making their way. They have aggressive wards set up, so they do see 1437. A lull in the proceedings. 1437 does jump into Earth Spirit, and it was right on the Dire ward, so they know this is happening, and they're probably gonna wait for Extremist to do something overly aggressive, and they're ready to respond. Amada almost baiting this out. He's probably gonna wait till some of his teammates are closer in, and then he's gonna go for it. He's over halfway into completing his Aghanim Scepter. And this illusion could bait something. Now they realize the smoke isn't broken, so the illusion is not back the real Terrorblade. And now they're moving up, but there is a flank coming, and Slardar just misses his stun. Abu reacts really well. EMP to zone them out, but he could blow up here to Orpheus. Two-shot by the Templar Assassin. And Extremers just realized, oh god, get me out of here. And the two-man stun. And 1437 could go down here too. Water soon to follow. It looks to be a very... Oh, he just makes it out. I mean, good for Extremers, but how good is that, honestly? Templar Assassin still has the Aegis. He has 1,500 more gold right now. Terrorblade must have completed his Manta. His split push is officially online, and this game can't last much longer. They've fallen too far behind. The XP and gold graphs tell their own story. I mean, it's not the most one-sided game, not by a long shot. We've casted this tournament, but it flipped so dramatically. I mean, over here you see the tiny hills that Extremists had the advantage early on. That was actually more than tiny hills. The advantage was almost psychological as well, but that all went downhill, to say the least. I mean, not even a sharp spike, just steadily chipping away again and again. They get a kill there on a Vengeful Spirit, but I mean, that's just the negative debuff aura right now at this point. He's not gonna care, and neither will K4, not too much at least. So, Farman on his Terrorblade, aggressively farming his opponent's jungle. And right now, Extremers are in that horrible position in Dota when you have to start playing scared. Been there so many times myself, and feel helpless. You feel like you're trapped, you're being choked. That's what's happening right now. They can't venture too far away from their base. Most of their tier 2s are already down. This is the last one standing. Once this goes down, where can you go to farm? Where do you feel safe? And they are gonna push this tower. They know that's the case. Once they get rid of this, all farm will be eradicated. And oh, he blink dodges the cast, but he's taking a lot of damage. And the swap comes in, he barely makes it. Terrorblade comes through with an army, and this army is gonna eat up all these heroes. They are making a move, but he does have the swap, and he does use it. And Abaddon probably knows he's dead. Lifestealer was just chilling inside him. Achilles comes in aggressively with the blink crush. And 1437 looks to make it out. He probably will. Achilles just lives. A Sunstrike could be coming in here. Invoker making a move, but he's gonna come in to die. Achilles coming in for the... Oh, and that's a rampage for Terrorblade. The first rampage of this tournament. Hopefully it won't be the last. Guess what, guys? He was feeding, quote unquote, early game. Who's laughing now? Terrorblade with a rampage. I'm sure his team and him are doing some fist bumps right now. They must be happy with that. And really well played by Achilles, you know, on a sliver of health, and he just stayed around. Blink Crush, sprinted out of there, doing Slardar things the whole time. And this is officially game over after that fight. There's no way to come back from this. No chance. And I mean, they're diving in aggressively. If you're gonna give them a chance, this is how you do it. But I mean, even if they get this kill, which they will, Earth Spirit gets it. Maybe not the right hero to get it, but hey, he can complete his mech. But I mean, you've been raxed on one side. Completing your mech on 24 minutes isn't exactly scary at this point. Templar Assassin has her BKB, and Terrorblade has his Skadi. Scary, scary stuff. Let's keep an eye on him. Right now, he has the confidence to take fights all by himself. And they're just huddled up together trying to kill these Terrorblade illusions. There's a mini scuffle, middle between Achilles and 1437, but nothing's gonna come of it. So yeah, pretty dominant stuff by K4, showing why they were the favorites before this game. I mean, pretty crisp execution by them. Really well played by Achilles. And I mean, when you see a bunch of Terrorblade demons running at you like that, you kind of know the fight's not going to go your way. And he was pretty patient with his Sunder, as he should be. Used it at the right time, and it just never looked like they were going to lose that fight, to be honest. Terrorblade Illusion doesn't believe in fighting. Namaste. And yeah, not much to elaborate on at this point. It looks like pretty one-way traffic. Farm for Hamada is pretty impressive. I mean, he's out farming the Slardar by quite a bit, and the Slardar has had a pretty good game. In 0 deaths, 0 kills, but 16 assists. Hamada has 3 deaths and has out-farmed him, showing that Hamada is getting his farm game on. He's got his Aghanims. The second it hits nighttime or darkness is up, they're definitely going to make a move. They might even make a move before that. And the Terrorblade has another 3,100 gold. So Terrorblade could go for a BKB at this point, and they just can go for the GG push if he'd like to. Or they can just keep having fun and buy items that blow people up. Terrorblade Dagon 5, new meta, boys. They look to be moving in here with Hamada's Darkness. Only a few seconds left before that's up. And I don't think they're gonna hesitate here. Should be seeing some action very soon. Scouting Sunstrike that barely does anything to a range creep. At this point they're just they're too far behind. Roshan is up and they can tell. It looks to be what they're going for here. But the darkness comes in and they might want to kill. Hamada can see everything in this vicinity. But they look to be going for Roche, and it's almost impossible to initiate on these guys at Roche with Hamada and his Aghanim Scepter. Smoke or no smoke, you're just letting this Roche go at this point. Bottom lane is just casually being pushed in, and all 4 of them are here. I mean, they don't even have the wards to know for sure that they're at Roche to give them some room to farm. And 1437 is probably going to head back here. He definitely will when he sees these guys mid. And yeah, run for the hills. Oh, pretty brave. Not that brave. Yeah, he's getting out of here, and they're drawing a buttocks to lead him back home. And I don't know how they fight this, to be honest. Terrorblade has purchased an Eagle Song, so he is going for a butterfly and more damage. Like he needed it. And Happy tries to do something to Orpheus. Dash will go down, but what can they do to the main man? Carmen is literally standing through a death ward. He doesn't give a damn. And this looks to be GG. We should see the call any second now. This is just too much at this point. Oh, Terrorblade wants another rampage. I don't think Extremers are gonna let him have it, and they're just gonna call it. Invoker is just gonna accept that this game is beyond them. And delaying the GG, I think Pings from Slardar, he just wants to end it right now. He doesn't think farming them in their fountain is fun. And Orpheus gets very overzealous there. And yeah, they look to end the game right now. I mean, Extremers might go for one last stand, and oh, really nice stun by Earthshaker and a silence. I mean, but there's a GG. Good game, good luck next. Thank you for Extremers for participating in our tournament, and thank you for the good sportsmanship. Should serve as a benchmark for all to follow. K4, very impressive. Very impressive comeback from a rough start. And we look forward to seeing them in the next round of the losers bracket, where they look to climb their way all the way to the final. And let's see if that's possible. Guys, we will be back after a short break and a word from our sponsors. Hope to see you then.